Tonight on Country Squire Radio, I make sure that the audio is coming through the YouTube channel before I start recording. Not really. I clicked record and then made an edit. Y'all let me know if you can hear us, okay?
Did you do it?
We'll find out.
Last week it sounded like we were in a bathtub.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And I've never been in a bathtub with you.
Well, except for that one time, but we don't talk about that. And we certainly wouldn't talk about that on air. No, tonight on Country Squire Radio, we got a pipe smoking 101, entry-level tobaccos for a certain type. Stay tuned to find out. We also got a pipe question of the week, all about the FDA regulations and when and where you will be able to get your pipe tobaccos that you love in the future. All this happening with listener feedback, with quick-fire questions, and more, starting right now on Country Squire Radio. Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Beau.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Beau. How you doing, man?
Man, I am doing great. Glad to know that our live channel can hear us A-OK. Fortunately, Twitter's chiming in right now.
Good. That's what we want to hear.
That's exactly what we want to hear.
That's great.
I'm doing really well. It's been a crazy last week. I was doing some traveling. I was actually up in New York City for a very, very hot minute. Got an opportunity to actually meet George Lucas's wife, which is kind of cool.
Dude, what? You didn't get to meet George Lucas?
He wasn't there, but maybe next time.
But you met what's that? Remember that South Park cartoon where they're like, it's sung by John Stamos's brother?
But I did get a chance to meet John Legend, so that was kind of cool.
Okay.
And actually, he even did a little singing, which was pretty awesome.
That's great.
Well. But so I've been traveling around, but I'm back home and happy to be. What about you, man? What you been up to?
Dude, man, rocking and rolling. It's golly, it's been a crazy few weeks here. Of course, everyone knows I am in the midst of planning my wedding to my future life partner, and she's here tonight, which is nice. So, yeah, man, just doing that. Also, some exciting stuff coming up for the Squire. We are hoping to announce either right before or right after Christmas. We'll see, but some interesting stuff going on for 2018 that'll have a big effect on our business and just kind of the future direction of the shop. All really, really good stuff we're excited about, and hopefully we'll be rolling some of that out soon. So anyway, just lots happening, man. It's amazing. It's just a really busy time, and I like to take naps, and so I've had to take more of them of late just to process all this stuff. You know what I mean? Some people, when they get overwhelmed, they do a variety of things, and I just go in my room and shut down. And so I've had to do that a little bit.
You got to do it, man. You got to do it.
It's been really helpful. That and the pipe have kept me sane.
Well, hey, speaking of shut down, listeners of Country Squire Radio know that over the last week, and actually it's been kind of an ongoing, reoccurring issue that we've had with the Country Squire Radio feed, the podcast feed, is that occasionally kind of have this hiccup where people aren't getting their new content as soon as it goes live. Well, I am proud and glad and happy to say that a final solution, until it becomes no longer final, but we've moved our hosting client completely onto a brand new hosting client, which means that from this point ongoing, if you are subscribed to the feed, you should get every single new episode on time, immediately. And there's actually an added benefit to this, is that our archived feed, our publicly archived feed, actually now goes all the way from now all the way back to episode 100. For the last little while, it was only like the last 60 to 70 episodes.
That's what I thought. I know folks had trouble with that. So now they can get all the way back to 100, and then of course our patrons can get all the 100 early episodes.
Okay,
good. So all right. So all you just said, things like feed, archive, client, hosting, that none of that makes sense to me. I just heard wah. So practically, for our listeners that are idiots like me, this just means that their feed or their podcast listening will be more consistent.
Yeah, let me put it this way. If you
break it down for people like me, I need the milk.
Absolutely. If you're listening to this right now, but not through, say, iTunes, let's say that this episode you had to look for it somewhere, go to iTunes, resubscribe to the podcast, unsubscribe to whatever you were subscribed to before, resubscribe to the podcast. It'll refresh, and you'll never have to worry about it again. We'll also have kind of an episode going out on the old feed, just in case anybody gets kind of trapped in a alternate universe somewhere and all that kind of good stuff.
So if everyone on iTunes then needs to resubscribe, is that correct?
It would not hurt. It's more of like if you're not seeing this episode, which is kind of ironic because then you wouldn't be hearing us talk about it.
Right.
But theoretically speaking,
Okay.
everyone, it would not hurt for everyone to go ahead and resubscribe to the show.
Okay.
But
it's like, wearing a belt and suspenders at the same time. Just make it happen.
Covering all your bases. But here's something cool, man. As part of this whole process, it also means that we end up with a kind of a new landing page for Country Squire Radio. In fact, if you go to countrysquireradio.com, you'll check it out and see it. It's a little bit more mobile friendly. Those tuning in for the live show tonight are kind of experiencing it for the first time.
Beautiful website, man.
Yeah,
we're in a great job.
We're in like HD, well, not HD, but like larger screens. So like I'm moving my hands around and
you look like a mime.
Yeah, I know. So it's kind of like you'd see the same stuff, but we're now bigger.
No, it's good.
Theoretically.
Anyway. and we need to look bigger, right?
We need all the help we can get.
We do have a special visitor here in the shop tonight.
That's right.
Our friend Barry Pettis from Lucedale, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Man, longtime friend of the Country Squire. Longtime pipe smoker, right, Barry? For quite a while. But anyway, Barry is joining us. He's in town on business, and Barry was actually the guy that kindly donated the Esoterica Penzance for our drawing last week. And so one of you guys were fortunate enough to win that. And anyway, Barry, we thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Barry is also he has an online business. He does retail through eBay, where it's like vintage clothing, is that, or used clothing, is that right?
Nice.
So you can check it out. It's poppin_tags. That's POPPIN.
Wait, hang on. It's vintage clothing, and it's popping those tags.
Popping tags, baby.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I see you. I see what you did there. That's good.
That's POPPIN_TAGZZ. You can find him on eBay, and he's got a lot of cool stuff. He has connections throughout the Southeast on some really great vintage wear and all that stuff. So anyway, check him out. We love Barry, and he's a good friend of the show and of the radio show.
Absolutely. Well, hey man, before we jump into tonight's topic, we've got, of course, the holidays coming. We've got the custom cob competition going on.
Yeah, guys, excited about this, man.
People
are fired up.
This is really fun because it's really easy to enter. All you have to do is get yourself a corncob pipe, a good Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipe, paint it, do a carve job, do whatever you want to do to it to really kind of make it unique. And if you have kind of a holiday theme to the way that you're designing this pipe, it'll go a long way. But it's 1 entry per person. All pipes must be smokable after you get done kind of with the custom design that you put on it. And what you'll need to do, we've had some people writing in asking about this. You'll need to actually send those pipes here to the Country Squire.
That's right.
You can find, of course, the mailing address information at Country.
Yeah, at thecountrysquireonline.com. And just go on the contact page. I'll just say it real quickly. It's 1855 Lakeland Drive, Suite B10, Jackson, Mississippi 39216.
And here's the deal: we need
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
All the entries need to be in by December 15th. December 15th. I know we've been kind of teasing out that we were going to have the official date. We got the official date. They all need to be here by December 15th because the winner will actually be announced on our Christmas episode, which we'll be recording on December 18th. So get them here by the 15th so that we can announce a winner on the 18th.
Yeah, has to be at the shop by December 15th. That's
all right. And
we're excited.
It's going to be great, man, because for a custom cob competition, the best prize is actually a custom cob trophy. And I've been working on it, and it's pretty epic.
Did you go buy some glitter and some colored pipe cleaners and
No, not that. It's gilded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Does gilded imply real gold?
It does.
But it's not gilded. It's faux gilded.
It's faux gilded. Did you take one of those gold Sharpies that has a little glitter built into it and just like scrabble on something?
It's not important how it happens. It's but one way or the other,
it's gonna be so lame. I can't wait.
You're gonna get a great trophy, as well as some other great stuff from the Country Squire that's gonna go directly to the winner. Again, send those entries in by December 15th to the Country Squire here. Oh, and man, we can't jump into the topic without first giving a huge shout out to new club member.
Oh man,
Country Squire Radio club member Benjamin. I'm sorry, I don't know what I was saying. Benjamin Aline McMoulin.
You really don't have to try to butcher these names. Like you butcher them enough by themselves. You know what I mean? This is a simple one.
Well, I know Benjamin.
Benjamin Allen McMullen. We are so thankful to have you join at the Squire level for our International Pipe Club on Patreon. We couldn't do this kind of thing without you and all the other Squire members. So thanks a bunch for joining.
You know the great thing about McMullen?
What?
He's BA. Good Brad. Benjamin Allen.
I don't.
BA.
Okay.
All right. Not going with me on that one?
This is so bad.
Well, hopefully it's not an indication of the episode that we've got tonight, because tonight
no, it's already been a great episode.
No,
but,
man.
I mean, yeah. Anyway,
we've got a great episode tonight. We're actually going to be doing a 101 episode. Now, these are episodes that are kind of tailor-made specifically for new folks, new people who are picking up the pipe and kind of trying to kind of figure things out. We looked actually at our backlog and we realized we hadn't done a 101 episode in quite some time. And I think it's our mandate in what we do here to help bring on the new pipe smokers.
Yeah.
And tonight is definitely dedicated towards that. Now, for those of you who've listened to 101 episodes in the past, we try to not just, while it is tailored for that new pipe smoker, we try to also keep in the room those who have been smoking a pipe for quite some time. In fact, we've got something kind of dedicated to you guys in the coming days here as well. More information on that as we go along. But John David, what is the pipe smoking 101 episode tonight?
Man, tonight we were talking about English blends for beginners. It's intimidating to get into English blends when you're a new pipe smoker. And of course, a lot of folks, you're into this and you may be a newer pipe smoker and you're like, well, what the heck is an English blend? I don't even know what this means. And so we thought we'd just dive into that and then give you a few suggestions on maybe some places to start for English blends. English blends, of course, if you are a newer pipe smoker, particularly in the United States, you probably started smoking an aromatic tobacco, right? This is kind of the favorite tobacco of the U.S., real sweet, generously cased tobaccos that, might have different flavors, cherry, vanilla, raspberry, whatever, we should make a raspberry tobacco.
Yeah, or schnozberry.
Schnozberry.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work on that. Actually, that would be good because I think I have a big nose. But anyway, so yeah, English blends. These are blends that are typically not cased, or if they are, it's extremely in limited quantities or limited amounts. But these are blends that feature the leaf Latakia. Typically, English blend, of course, has to have Latakia at least a 5% amount to be considered an English blend. And generally they'll go anywhere from 5% to 20%. You've got those outliers that, kind of creep on over 20% there. But Latakia, of course, is that smoky, rich leaf that a lot of folks are like, oh, it's that stuff that makes the tobacco taste like barbecue, right? It's I'm an aromatic smoker, but I smelled my first tin or my first pouch of English blend tobacco, Latakia tobacco, and that it smells like we always say campfire, barbecue, toastiness, peatiness. A lot of people think it that are off put by it. It's more like burnt hair or something like that. But it's just smoky, toasty flavor that is always kind of interesting. So what we thought, of course, there are English blends that are probably not the right places to start. If you are an aromatic smoker that has thoroughly enjoyed just whatever number of aromatics. Our friends from Lane, of course, make 1Q. We have plenty of aromatics here at the Country Squire, like Cherokee and Blue Ribbon and Lancaster. Other tobacco shops around the country blend their own as well. Cornell and Deal has an amazing assortment. Things like Autumn Evening or Chocolate Cavendish or whatever, on and on. So
full spectrum.
The full spectrum. If that is your background and you're interested, okay, what's this English blend? Let me give one a shot. Let's get introduced to Latakia just to see what it's like. Then we wanted to just recommend a few things for you.
All right, so can I let me ask you this: is it still seen in the pipe community that dipping your toes into English means that you're getting out of the kiddie pool and into the deep end? Because I kind of frown against that mindset, but I also know that has been a popular mindset.
I agree that it is the mindset, but I want to qualify this. Okay, like the goal is not for you to wind up smoking an English blend. The goal is for you to try an English blend.
Expand that palate.
You've got to expand your palate. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. One of our listeners wrote in, I think, and we've gone back and forth on this, that concept of broadening your horizons with your flavor profile. Trying things that you don't necessarily like, just to make you appreciate flavors that you do like that much more. It is so incredibly critical. So, even if you are a cherry vanilla smoker and that's all you've ever smoked, occasionally it really is important to go out there and try that tobacco way out in left field just to kind of recalibrate yourself, right? You don't even have to like it, but when you go back to the tobacco that you are familiar with, that you do love, you're going to be more sensitive to the things you really love about it. So it really is, for the person that appreciates tobacco, that wants to be a connoisseur of it, that wants to, really grow their sense of different tastes and all that. It really is important. So the goal is not necessarily to wind up an English blend smoker.
Right.
You might wind up a Virginia smoker, or stay an aromatic smoker, or a Perique smoker, whatever. But the goal is to take that first step and just to try it. And particularly for newer pipe smokers, it's always intimidating. You've been smoking this caramel flavored tobacco, and now you're going to smoke something that tastes like Scotch whiskey. And so it's just this kind of big jump that you have to get into. So
yeah, absolutely, man. Great qualifier too.
Yeah.
I always think that's important because that's that snobbishness around English still exists. And I got to tell you, and maybe I should. Well, no, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. With what we've seen from the War of the Roses and that sort of thing, especially from last week and the videos. Which, by the way, the videos from the War of the Roses is now out on YouTube. We've shared that on Facebook.
That's right.
And just seeing how many people gravitated to Lancaster, which is far more of a aromatic blend. I'm like, guys, you guys are English. What the English doing gravitating towards aromatics? I'm just saying. Anyway, so all that to say, English blends, it's not about changing your taste or driving into the deep end, or now you've graduated. It's like you said, it's about expanding your palate.
That's right.
Entry level, expand my palate.
Entry level English blends. This is kind of where we're at. Now, some of the English blends that we're going to mention tonight are true English blends. Okay, so these are blends that are not flavored at all. They have zero casing or topping, but they feature a healthy portion of Latakia. Some of the blends we're going to talk about tonight, Beau, have I call them hybrid blends or English aromatics. Okay, so these are blends that feature Latakia to the point where it's there, it's prominent, but then there's also other ingredients that typically have a little flavoring or a little topping, just to make it a little more palatable. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. First off tonight, I will introduce Old Dog pipe tobacco. Of course, this is from our friends at McClelland. McClelland, they make some of the best tobaccos in the world. I'm a fanboy. If you've listened to the show long enough, you know all that. But I'll read it quickly. A full English mixture, dark with Cyprian Latakia, spiced with fragrant Xanthia from Macedonia, a Macedonian tobacco. Its liveliness is a result of aged flue-cured Virginias and jet black Cavendish tobaccos. We are pleased to make available once again in this original Old Dog pipe recipe. So anyway, this is an older tobacco that came from another company that McClelland has rebirthed, and this is a really rich tobacco. It's one of those that, this is kind of dropping you in the deep end of English blends, but it's dropping you the deep end with floaties. Okay. Like, those little things that you had on your arms that help you float around the pool, and you look like an idiot. Everyone knows you can't swim, but you're still floating in the deep end.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that when you're smoking Old Dog, you get to do that because you're experiencing a full-bodied English blend. But the thing I like about this, and the reason I would kind of recommend this as a starter tobacco, it's got a healthy dose of unflavored black Cavendish in here. So you're going to open this tin, immediately smell a rich, burning, sensation. It's very robust, but the smoothness of this tobacco is really apparent when you're smoking it. So this tobacco is going to burn very cool. It's going to give you a really healthy understanding of what a full-bodied English blend is without feeling harsh by any means at all. So it's a dark tobacco, rich. It's kind of velvety and silky. It's a nice ribbon cut, and of course it has the Macedonian leaf in there as well to just kind of keep it interesting for newer smokers, just to provide that extra dose of cedary flavor. So Old Dog, this is going to be kind of probably at the limit of what you'll want to try if you're a new to English blends.
So when you say at the limit, so this is really kind of diving in.
Yeah, this is probably the farthest you want to go.
Okay. Gotcha.
This is probably where I'd send you. Next we've got, and this is a fun tobacco. I love what they've done here. The folks at Cornell and Deal and Greg Peace, they have collaborated to make Two Friends pipe tobacco. And Two
Oh
Friends,
yeah, I remember this one.
man, we've got just a bunch of their tobaccos here at the shop, and they sell on our website, and we love them like crazy. They're all really interesting blends. But this is going to be one of those hybrid blends that I highly recommend to folks that are aromatic smokers but want to get a sense of what Latakia tastes like, right? So Two Friends, this is their English chocolate. English chocolate, it says we begin with the finest Virginias, just enough Latakia to provide the taste that so many crave, and then press it in to marry the flavors. And so this is a broken flake tobacco, and it has just that enough of that kind of milk chocolate essence to keep it interesting for for smokers.
Now, Two Friends, if I'm not mistaken, we actually, I wanted to say we did this as a tobacco talk, but I think it was actually a Squire Select when we did the Cask Mates, and you actually paired this up with the Jamesons.
Yeah, it may have been a different Two Friends.
Okay.
But yeah, because they make a bunch of different tobaccos, and I can't remember which one.
Oh, okay, okay.
But this is their English chocolate blend.
Interesting. Right. Okay, so that's good to note. All right, so that's really good. All right, so this one,
go ahead.
Chocolate in terms of tobacco can be a very polarizing flavor.
It can. That's right. That's right. This blend is nice because the chocolate topping is very subtle, and so you're going to open this tin. It's a broken flake. It's real pleasing to just kind of touch in the can and smell and all that. You're immediately going to get a really healthy sense of Latakia in there, so smoky richness. And as you're smoking this, Latakia is the predominant flavor, but for the aromatic smoker, there's enough sweetness there to kind of keep you in the ball game, right? So as you're smoking the tobacco, you're going to get those notes of cocoa throughout your smoke. And again, you'll have a lot of those, kind of velvety, rich flavors that I think marry really well. So it's a fun tobacco to smoke. It's one of those that, I think as a newer English blend smoker, as someone that wants to experience Latakia, you'll be interested in trying.
Sounds good.
Yep. Next, we've got this is kind of fun. Yeah, and this is going to be closer to the old dog as far as ones to try. Going down the road, but this is, as far as the aggressiveness of kind of what we're looking into here. But this is Dunhill Early Morning Pipe. Now, this is kind of interesting. Some folks might be like, "Why would you send the new kid on the block down to try Early Morning Pipe?" But Early Morning Pipe from Dunhill, of course, this is one of the best-selling tobaccos, really in the world. I'm sure, but it's a light English blend. It's got that natural sweetness. The Latakia is very present, but it's not overpowering. It is, paired with this kind of Turkish crisp toastiness. The Turkish tobaccos, they have a lot of this woody toastiness that just is a really nice complement to it. And I think that toastiness just kind of keeps it interesting for a lot of the newer folks that enjoy it. So if you have liked mild aromatics that kind of maybe probably feature a lot of Virginia tobaccos, like natural flavors, but are interested in kind of sticking your toe in the Latakia pond or whatever, I think Early Morning Pipe is a good one to do.
Is this one opened up?
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
You can open it if you want to buy it.
No. Of course, early morning pipe though. I do feel like that's one that's been mentioned several times on this podcast, and I always love it. I think I want to say this was one of the ones that we mentioned before when we were talking about like breakfast.
We did. We sure did. It made the list. Yep.
Absolutely.
It sure did. It's a great tobacco. Not particularly overwhelming. It's not a tobacco that just is going to, kick you in the pants.
Well, and that's what you want, right? When you're dipping your toes in.
Yeah, I agree. So a couple more. We've got McClelland Anniversary. Now everyone knows that there is a recent blend that McClelland came out with. It's their 40th anniversary.
Oh my god.
We love McClelland. They, but there's a couple things they do that is a little confusing. So they for a long time have had McClelland Anniversary, and they just came out with another blend, McClelland 40th Anniversary, to celebrate their 40th year. The 40th Anniversary is a different blend than what I'm telling you about right now. Okay, so
was Anniversary actually on their 40th anniversary?
It was not.
Okay, so this is like their 30th anniversary. All right, 40, 39 math.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I to be honest, I really don't know because it says. Well, I just don't know. But yeah, this is McClelland Anniversary. It's a beautiful tin. It actually comes wrapped in this kind of khaki colored paper, and it's got this beautiful blue wax seal on the top of it, which
It's
is
gorgeous.
really stunning. It's a stunning tin of tobacco. You're going to pay a little more for this. It's I think it generally the MSRP on this is around $22. But it's just a beautiful tobacco. The presentation is amazing. And it says specialist with Virginian and Oriental leaf. On the outside, it does not mention Latakia in this tobacco, but this is an English blend. This is an English blend. It's a mellow Virginia English blend. And so what McClelland, what they excel at, of course, are the rich
Packaging. I'm
well,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
packaging.
McClelland always excels at
They do.
packaging.
They know how to create a product that you want to buy just by how it looks, right?
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
luckily for them, or thank goodness for them, the inside of the can also matches, what is on the outside.
And exactly.
They
That's what
just make
matters.
great tobaccos. But
Gosh.
so anyway, in anniversary, of course, McClelland, they're excelling at this rich, sugar content Virginia that they're so well known for. These robust, bright Virginias, but mostly a lot of these, kind of creamy, velvety red Virginias that just have just the right amount of sugar content. The nicotine is low, and it's just real easy going to smoke. Real just thick richness. It's just really good tobacco that they're good at. But then so they've taken this and they've kind of added the Latakia to what their bread and butter is, right? So they're those rich dark Virginias. They've taken that concept, those stoved creamy Virginias, and they've added the Latakia to it in their anniversary blend. And so just a really great tobacco. It's going to be ribbon cut tobacco. Super mild, burns really easy. This is a tobacco that's probably middle of the road as far as ones you might want to try, because it's certainly not nearly as strong, I would think, as the Old Dog, but not nearly as sweet either as the English chocolate. So I'm kind of giving you a spectrum here to pick from.
That's good, man.
Which is nice. So a couple more I'll mention.
Yeah.
Northwest Trek from the Country Squire. Of course, we just debuted this. It's a tobacco that actually Caleb the intern mixed. It was his first blend.
Yeah, where's that at? Right
it's over here actually on over my
yeah, that's right. Got moved
right
to the
shoulder.
side.
But
Okay.
yeah, this is an English aromatic, so it's kind of like English chocolate from two friends. This is a tobacco. I'm actually smoking it tonight. So it's
Good
one of
rundown.
those that is real smoky, thick smoke, lots of just fire, toasty notes, but it's also got this kind of maple sweetness to it. You might get a little cocoa in it, but it's more of just a soft maple sweetness. It's really nice. It's a Virginia Burley Latakia mixture, and it just has these savory notes that make the aromatic components in there interesting. So just enough Black Cavendish to kind of make itself burn cool and make the room note pleasant, but I think is really, really good. So we're proud of Northwest Trek and encourage y'all to try it. And then you may notice that I have gone through this entire evening talking about gateway English blends for new smokers, right?
Right.
And I have not mentioned once on purpose Frogmorton. So Frogmorton is really, and I could have done a whole show on Frogmorton.
Have we
tobacco.
not? We need to do that. If
we probably need to do a whole show on just the Craftsberry series from McClelland.
Oh,
but
so good.
But Frogmorton again, I could have done a whole show
get
on
them
that.
all while you can.
But that would have been too predictable. It would have been too predictable to do every one of these tobaccos just a different Frogmorton. Frogmorton, these are made by McClelland. Incredibly smooth English blends. I remember it was the gateway drug for me getting into non-aromatic tobaccos, and I didn't even wind up an English blend smoker. I don't, if you have listened to the show long enough, I don't really care for English blends that often. So I'm more of a Virginia smoker, and a Perique smoker. But Frogmorton, it really is like this gateway. It holds your hand into the English world, right?
Yes, it does.
It's really kind of fantastic. They add enough of the unflavored Black Cavendish into this tobacco to just take you kind of whisked away into this silky goodness. It's really, really good. I'll never forget opening my first tin of Frogmorton and thinking tobacco can smell like this. Like I didn't know pipe tobacco could smell like this. And if you want something sweeter, if you are a big aromatic fan, want something that of course, is going to give you enough of that sugar just to keep you in the game on the sweetness side, but also want to experience the full-bodied English blend. I would go with the Frogmorton Cellar, which of course was aged in a whiskey barrel. So
y'all heard it right. He just waxed poetic yet again about unflavored black Cavendish.
What
do you have in the kitchen, sir?
I'm not telling. Who knows?
Everybody's speculating,
or it might be nothing. it really is nothing. Right?
You're just staring at it like you can't figure out the recipe.
But it's just so great because it's it adds enough volume and enough body, that weird term we use, mouthfeel. It adds enough of that to the tobacco to make it very pleasant, but the flavoring is very limited in it, and so it just has this kind of wispy disappearing sweetness that just but the texture of it is really nice. So anyway, Frogmorton's major in that. They major in that kind of thick semi-sweet texture, but then of course there's plenty of that Latakia toastiness that makes it fun. So anyway, obviously we could have done a whole show just on why you should have begin smoking those as your new English blends, but I think the ones we featured first are certainly worth trying. So,
man, yeah. Look, at some point we really do need to have a Frogmorton dedicated episode, because that's just, it's like it just be like the candy store. Actually, could that be the one that we pair up with barbecue? Because I got to tell you, I think I'm serious, a lot of Frogmorton blends would actually go really well after like a nice full meal. Like when I think about what I want to smoke after a nice full meal, Frogmorton is exactly where my mind goes.
We had a pilgrimage today. And I'm really embarrassed, brother. I cannot remember your name. I've got it written down over there, but it's just been a long day. But we had a pilgrimage today, and this kind gentleman came in here from Oklahoma, and he looked all around our shop, and he very seriously looked at me, and he said, I went to Pig and Pint Barbecue while I was in town today. Yeah. And it was so good that Pig and Pint, it's a local, barbecue place we've got here in Jackson. And he said, we were just passing through and wanted to try some local barbecue. So we went there, and he was like, I got some leftovers in my car. Can you recommend a tobacco that might go well with those leftovers?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Of course, you conveniently forgot his name. Where is he from?
Right.
Again?
I know. He's from Oklahoma.
That's what I'm talking about, Oklahoma.
And my guest book my guest book is literally right over there, and I really should go get it. But anyway, brother,
notice he forgot his name. I'm just saying.
That's right.
I would have butchered it, but I would have shown you your respect for bringing that barbecue into this place and asking for that. You go, sir. More power to you.
It was pretty great.
We'll win him over.
Yeah, it was solid. So anyway, yeah, I think that those notes of barbecue in some of those tins, I get it, right? I mean, you do open it, particularly when you open a can of Frogmorton on the Bayou. That is a tobacco that just screams like rich, thick barbecue. It's just really, really good. So anyway, I don't know. You're wearing me down, Beau.
Well, the great thing is, when you're having some barbecue, you got that great seasoned meat, but you also need some good sides. You know what
That's
I like?
Right.
You know what I like on the side of a good barbecue?
What?
A little bit of corn on the cob.
Oh, corn on the cob is really good. Some you've got the other things too, obviously, the baked beans and maybe some coleslaw or something, but there's always that corn on the cob.
Oh, it's so good. And the great thing about corn on the cob and just corn in general is that you could take that cob, you can make it into a pipe, or better yet, why not go to the people that masterfully take corn?
This is what they do.
They take the corn cob, they turn it into a pipe so that you can smoke any of these entry-level Englishes with any variation of barbecue that you want to. Of course, I'm talking about our good friends over at Missouri Meerschaum.
That's right. The folks at Missouri Meerschaum make incredible pipes out of the own corn that they grow there on their property in Washington, Missouri. It's really cool, Beau. I love this. If you're following Missouri Meerschaum right now on social media, you'll know that they are in the middle of harvest season.
Woo!
And they are bringing in all this corn that they grow there themselves to make these pipes. I mean, these are real vegetables that you're smoking out of.
That's right.
that real Americans have put together there in our heartland, and of course they just make incredible quality pieces. So tonight's episode is brought by the Missouri Legend, Missouri Meerschaum Legend, which we love. It's our best-selling corncob pipe here at the Country Squire. It's just a really simple Billiard, it comes in a straight and a bent variety. It has a nice amber stem on there and has the option of using that cotton filter in case you need something to catch some of your moisture. So it's a generous sized bowl, medium sized bowl, and is one of those that's going to be good for sampling tobaccos or for a nice afternoon smoke for an hour and a half.
Look, man, I love the pipes from Missouri Meerschaum, the legend. We were talking about it actually even before we went live, and I was like, that's the one.
That's the one. That's the one,
man. Absolutely love the legend. So, hey, if you've got a legend, smoke it this week. Take a selfie, send it in to us. We love to retweet those out whenever we get them in. It lets the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum know that you appreciate them for sponsoring this show. All right, man. Pipe question of the week this week is actually being brought to us this week by our good friends at Father the Flame.
Father the Flame, that's right.
All right, now Father the Flame, of course, an amazing documentary that is in process and has been for quite some time. Guys, they are getting so close to making this documentary a reality. They just need a little bit of help in getting their sound mixing done. And so to make this happen, they actually are going to have a really awesome auction. Now you can participate in this auction from November 17th November 17th through the 19th. They got pipes from like Lee Eric, Rob E, unique pipes by and I always mispronounce it.
No, it's the Father the Flame pipe from Meerschaum. So yeah, of course they partnered with famed French pipe maker Meerschaum, all the great folks there to make the really cool Father the Flame Bulldog. So yeah. Really nice. But all those will be part of the silent auction.
And it's coming up, guys. Again, that's November 17th through the 19th. Head over there. Highest bid will take home a pipe. And again, not only are you getting yourself an awesome pipe, but you're also helping to make this documentary happen. So again, Father the Flame, November 17th through 19th. Highest bid takes home one of these awesome pipes to help make Father the Flame, the documentary, happen.
And did they just go to fathertheflame.com, Beau?
Fathertheflame.com. That's
right?
Got your information right there.
Okay, great.
All right. So the pipe question this week is from Zach Bailey. Nope. Sorry, Zach. Not from you.
Just kidding.
Not from you, Zach. And sorry to Mike, because now he's got to fix it in post. All right. The actual pipe question this week comes in from Eric. And Eric writes in, he says, I have noticed that a lot of new awesome blends are coming out from everyone, the Country Squire included. It had me thinking that, we've got these regulations from the FDA. Where does the industry stand right now? And will the Country Squire even be able to sell amazing, epically amazing,
epic?
I may have added those in there. Tobaccos such as White Rose.
Did you add that in there too?
No, the White Rose he asked. I might have.
I could have sworn you added that in there too.
No, I embellished about how epic it was, but still, yes.
No, that's great. Rose. Okay, good. Good question. Folks are in our industry, obviously, over the past few years, we've been on pins and needles about how the new regulations from the FDA are going to affect the pipe industry in particular. We've talked before about the in shop. Me blending pipe tobacco being considered manufacturing and all this other stuff. And to be honest, all this is being litigated right now. And so, we don't go into politics. We don't like to go into politics on the show, but just factually, at the end of this past year, after the election, there was a lot of turnover in the FDA. Now, that didn't necessarily give us, as an industry, any kind of out. But what it did is kind of push the ball. It just kind of slowed the process down. And so right now the dates are getting pushed back. All this stuff is being litigated. It's in the court system. The FDA is kind of determining their new strategy since they're under new administration on how to approach the subject. And they haven't even fully decided this yet. Right. And so it's just all in flux right now. And therefore you've got tobacconists like the Country Squire. It seems like our friends at Cornell and Deal are coming out with a new tobacco every week. Everyone is still just kind of in the blending mode of this, right?
Business as usual, with maybe even a little let's get this creative juices going while we got
while we can, right? Yeah. And so that's where we are. We're waiting for this stuff to be litigated. There are currently a couple of lawsuits that have been filed on behalf by our trade organization on behalf of retailers like us that are fighting for the ability to continue to blend craft pipe tobaccos here in an environment like the Country Squire without going through too much red tape and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, right now retailers like us, pipe shops across the country where we still exist, are just kind of waiting for the stuff to shake out. The clock is ticking, but we just don't have a lot of clarity right now. And a lot of that, to be just real frank, again, we won't go into details politically, but that just changed a little bit of the metrics of this thing with the election this time last year. So anyway, just feeling our way through that, seeing where this is going to go, and hoping for the best. One thing you can be fully confident in is that the Country Squire, being a committed pipe shop, a shop that our identity is pipes, and that's what we major in. We'll do whatever we have to legally to continue to hand blend pipe tobacco here in our store. And so we've almost been here 50 years. We want to be here another 50 years and make some of these delicious recipes. And we feel like we're well positioned, along with a lot of other companies, to make it to the other side of this regulatory hurdle. And we're committed to that. And I hope y'all understand just my vigor in we're not going anywhere. So it might cost us some money. It might mean we have to go up on some prices. It might mean that things come out a little slower, or timetables are elongated some, but we will always hand blend pipe tobacco here at our shop.
Yeah, the great thing is, I mean, in terms of just the narrative of the Country Squire, but also your narrative, is when all of, like, at the height of the FDA regulations and kind of the midst of the turmoil and what's about to happen, that's when you bought the shop.
I did. I believe in our industry.
It was a bold move.
And it's interesting, looking back on that, gosh, that's been over a year ago now, but I had people calling me from all over the country in our industry, just thinking, and they were saying things like, man, I just want you to know, like, the courage that your community there in Jackson has to go after this thing. Like, we applaud that. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about just our whole pipe smoking community here. Country Squire Radio is part of that. We're committed to it. This is something that we love. It's in our bones. We believe in it. We think it's just a worthwhile thing that's worth fighting for. And so we'll be here. Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be here blending pipe tobacco.
And don't forget, you can buy the White Rose right now. Feel free to stockpile on it, because I heard between the lines that everything's going to continue as normal, but who knows? They may shut down White Rose specifically. This could be a collector's item. Buy it. Treat it like it's Penzance. It is the Penzance of the Country Squire.
Now you sound like Dunhill, like Dunhill was like, oh, we're going out of business and all this stuff, and they still might, who knows?
Yeah,
but it's
true.
made this complete rush on all their tobaccos, and people are like, I've got to buy more Nightcap, and you're like, it's readily available. I don't know. But you know what, Beau, you're right.
Get that White Rose.
Everyone needs to buy White Rose.
Get it.
You're right.
Great pipe question.
So shameless. Yeah.
Great pipe question, Eric. We really appreciate that. Hey, if you got
That was a good question.
If you got a pipe question of the week, send it in, show@countrysquireradio.com. Again, that's show@countrysquireradio.com. Quick fire question.
Ow!
All right, man. Quick fire questions coming in from thispipelife.com. Thispipelife.com. More about them in just a minute. This is actually from Jay Freedy over at the forums at thispipelife.com.
Okay.
All right. Now, he says this is very movie themed, and he apologizes in advance to John David.
Oh, movies. I don't, I don't do movies.
Well, you're about to.
Unless it's like Star Wars or Independence Day.
All right.
We got, or maybe those Herbie the Love Bug movies from like the early 80s.
Those are great. The original ones. Yeah. Not the one with the girl from the Parent Trap remake, but like the good ones.
No, we're talking about the old-fashioned ones. Yeah. That's the first time I screamed bloody murder and cried at a movie, was in the Herbie movie, when he went over that thing into the water.
Into the water, yeah.
Yeah. And I was terrified and very saddened, and my mom had to coddle me.
I remember Herbie spit the fuel like in the face of the bad guy. Do you remember that? Like his fuel gauge, like.
Yep.
Yeah. Lindsay Lohan, she remade that one, and she remade the Parent Trap. Did Disney have like Lindsay Lohan on like some sort of retainer? Like you must reboot all these movies before you go completely off the deep end.
I know.
I don't know.
Has she shaved her head yet?
I don't know. All right, Jay Freedy, here we go. You ready for this?
Yep.
Alfred Hitchcock or Tim Burton?
Hitchcock.
Tim Burton.
Okay. I don't know who Tim Burton is, but I have watched enough Hitchcock movies to be semi, versed.
No, Hitchcock is certainly more epic, more iconic, but Burton made Batman. So you gotta give it to him for that.
Okay.
George Lucas or Steven Spielberg?
Okay, I'm gonna go with Lucas because I'm the Star Wars fanboy, right? But I mean, I do think Spielberg has had more movies that have been, generally more highly acclaimed over time. but I'm probably more of a Lucas fan.
Yeah, Spielberg is more diversely talented.
Yeah,
but,
I think you're right.
But Lucas is a world builder, and I got to go to Lucas. I mean, gosh, it's George freaking Lucas. Speaking of which, Star Wars, Lucas or Abrams?
Lucas. Well, the first three.
Yeah. I mean, if you're stacking up all of them, I mean, Empire is still my favorite, and I absolutely love The Force Awakens. I love that movie. But it's still not Empire. So yeah, you got to go with Lucas on that one. Spider-Man. These are the actors that portrayed Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire. He was the 2002 one when we were in high school, or the new kid, Tom Holland.
I don't know who Tom Holland is, but I do remember the Tobey Maguire movies. So I'll go with that one. He was kind of the geeky kid, right?
He did a good job at portraying nerdy Peter Parker.
Yeah, like I think I don't know. There's part of me that identifies with that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
He was always a good Peter Parker. I'd never really felt him that strongly as Spider-Man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, that movie has a special place in my heart. Spider-Man 2, for the longest time, was my favorite. Like I almost had like borderline a religious experience seeing Spider-Man 2, and like the way that movie hit me. Like I was thinking about it for months and months and months. It just really spoke to me. That being said, Tom Holland, this new kid, is like Peter Parker walked off the pages of the comic book. He is perfect both as a Peter Parker and as a Spider-Man. So I got to give it to him. He does a great job. James Bond, Sean Connery or Daniel Craig?
Sean Connery.
We got to go to Sean Connery.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm not a big believer in the James Bond stuff. I don't know. I think Bond has just kind of gone overboard in the past couple of decades.
You say I've gone overboard. I can't do it. Hang on. The sad thing is I could probably do a Bond, but it would be like the Bond from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, no, exactly. Right. Yeah. Every time you make that voice, all I hear are those SNL parodies of what's the game show?
Yeah, Jeopardy.
The SNL things with Jeopardy and
what your mother said last night, Trebek.
That's right. That's what I hear.
Yeah, that's rough. And then finally, movie times. Do you prefer to go see them in an evening or a matinee?
Matinee. Yeah, because then you got the rest of your day left.
Yeah.
You get out and it's pitch black. In the movie theater, you get out and then it's light and you still have time to go eat or shop or go home and drink a beer.
Do what you got to do. Yeah, no, yeah. I prefer as early as humanly possible. I love if I go see a movie in theaters right now, it's because it just came out. Like I just went to go see Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, I heard it was really good.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's a blast. It is like a rock opera. It is like this rock opera special effects, just like masterpiece that is so much fun. It's so colorful. It's so like intense. Like they play the Led Zeppelin Immigrant song in the movie like twice. I come from the land of the mice and snow. Like all that kind of stuff. And because it's very Norse. That song is very Norse inspired. And so to have Thor swinging around his hammer,
maybe that too,
and to that music. And there's this one scene where he's like all like electrified up and everything else. And yeah, I've gone completely off the.
Let's keep it between the ditches here, bud.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Again, that came in from Jay Freedy from sending those in at thispipelife.com. Amazing online forums. If you've not checked out thispipelife.com, you absolutely should. When you use the code CSR, you can register there. Thispipelife.com. Use the code CSR to register. Not only are you joining an awesome online community, but you also get some great things like their fireside chats and great articles, great images that are over there as well. And, they also are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, basically wherever you are, they are. So check them out, thispipelife.com.
It's a really great resource for new pipe smokers too. We really encourage you to go check that out.
Listener feedback. All right, man. We got some great listener feedback in. First one comes in from Terry. What did Terry have to say?
Terry said, just started listening to your podcast. Apparently, Terry doesn't have much to do. He said, enjoyed 5 of them on my drive back to Springfield, Missouri from Leavenworth. I've entered a pipe carving contest in our local area.
Hey.
Cool, Terry. Not sure if I should go creative or traditional. New to pipes and carving, they started us with a pre-drilled briar block and a plastic tip. So any advice would be awesome. Plus, if you have an episode on this, let me know. Thanks. And he says,
no, yeah, actually we did do an episode. Man.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. So we did an episode on that pipe smoking 101. That was in April of 2016.
Yeah, man. It was called Carve Your Own Pipe, and should be actually out on the main feed now. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely do so. But yeah, best of luck to you, Terry, in your your pipe carving contest. Let us know how that works out for you.
Yeah, man, they always say the traditional shapes are the hardest to do. So if you want to be a little more forgiving, maybe give yourself some leeway and just have fun with it on the first go around. I don't know, do something crazy. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be really hard to take even a pre-drilled block of briar and make a bulldog or a billiard or a Dublin or anything like that. So regardless, man, knock yourself out. Good luck.
And jumping straight from pipe carving novices to a
pipe carving expert,
big time. This comes in from Jim Duchesne. What did Jim have to say?
Man, good friend of the show. Hey guys, great show, but all of us here on the West Coast want to know when you are coming to Vegas for the West Coast Pipe Show.
Oh man,
first weekend in November. You guys are officially invited. Be well and stay smoky, my friends. Jim Duchesne. Jim, incredibly talented pipe carver, of course.
Big time.
I've got a few of his pipes. Beau does as well, and we just really believe in his work. We would love to come to Vegas for the West Coast Pipe Show. All the big names are out there, particularly from that part of the country. A lot of those folks, can't make it, as far as Chicago or to some of the other shows on our side of the country. But man, I'd love to get out there and see that. Never been to Vegas, so I mean, I think it'd be worth it as long as I, leave my credit card at the house.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it actually before the show. So, if it is possible next year, we'll let you know, and we got to figure out if we're going to make that move, it's going to have to be in kind of a special way. So stay tuned, and we'll keep you in touch, or we'll keep you updated as we learn more. I got to give Jim actually a shout out too, because he commented on my poor showing at the last long smoke competition here at the Squire, and commented on how last year I did so much better. And he was thinking that maybe it had to do with the pipes, as in last year when I did pretty well, I was smoking a Jim Duchesne.
That's right.
Whereas
That's right.
this last past year, I was smoking one of the Savinelli unfinished, and did one of my worst times since the beginning. So that's no diss on Savinelli, but
yeah, there might be something to say there.
There might be.
The man does good work.
And then finally, we got this in from pipe smoking terrariums.
Wow.
And this is a guy from YouTube, pipe smoking terrariums. This is actually a comment that he left us from last week's live video.
Okay.
And what do you have to say?
He just says, love the masks.
Love the masks.
What does that refer to?
What masks? We're not sure what you're talking about there, terrariums.
Yeah. If you could write in and clarify.
Yeah, clarify that. Yeah. Masks last week specifically, not sure what you're referring to, but yeah, let us know. Let us know.
That'd be great. Man, some feedback tonight from Twitter as well. Our friend Gene Boker, he says, howdy to the future Mrs. Squire, which is fun. We've got Benjamin McMullen. Thanks so much for the welcome, and I love my new name pronunciation. Love the show.
Benjamin.
Portland Paul, he says, great longtime friend of the show. He says, man, 4th generation tobacco, 1882, got me started into English blends. Now they are in my rotation with aromatics. So good tobacco from our friend Eric Stokeby. Let's see. Kurt Undertaker Piper, he really likes Northwest Trek. We talked about it. He congratulates Caleb and says he really enjoyed Northwest Trek. And then Mark VV, I love this. He says he thinks that Missouri Meerschaum should include a little leaflet to tell you who ate the corn from your specific pipe. And that is fantastic. By the way, Mark wanted the Country Squire family to know that he beat you at the slow smoke competition.
Why?
And so I think that's worthy of saying. Like Mark made the effort. He drove 3.5 hours to come to the Squire to this, and he actually brought jambalaya. It was delicious.
It was delicious.
And he whipped you.
But did he though? Do you remember what his time was?
I'm choosing to remember it that way.
Yeah. So Mark, let's not gloat too much, right, brother? I mean, if we looked at what you actually beat me by, then it gets pretty embarrassing for you too. So I'm just saying.
It's so lame.
I'm just saying. We need another long smoke competition as soon as humanly possible.
We do.
I have got to I
note that I haven't entered the past 3 that I've been around. I just want everyone to notice that.
Yeah,
right.
My best showing
not
was
on
the
accident,
one that you actually did. So maybe you need to be in the next one.
We'll see.
That needs to happen. That needs to happen. Well, hey, thank y'all so much for that listener feedback. We always appreciate that. By the way, if you've not done so already, a great way to actually send us some listener feedback is heading over to iTunes and writing us a review there. It's a great way to help support the show without spending a dime. But hey, if you are willing to spend a dime, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Country Squire Radio. You can find links directly to there at countrysquireradio.com as well, where you can also join the Pipe Club. And in fact, man, this past weekend, I was like, I was earning my club leadership cred because I was sending out membership cards like nothing.
Yeah.
And correcting spelling.
That's great.
On at least 2 membership cards.
Yeah, our friend Aleander Carnes pointed out that he's actually Alexander.
Yeah.
So and that was remedied, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I got it right. I was so desperate to make sure I got it right. I actually took with my phone, took a picture of my screen of my computer to send to him just to be like, are we sure?
Let's double check this because I'm about to double down. Right.
Yeah. So anyway, all of you, with the exception of Benjamin, everybody should have their membership cards. Check your emails for all that, as well as your avatars and all that kind of good stuff as well. By the way, I mentioned at the top of the show that with a lot of these fixes going in for the main RSS feed, it may cause us to do a little bit of changing with the club feed. In fact, what we're probably going to end up doing is making that club feed very specific to those first 100 episodes. And so for club members, you essentially have kind of two podcasts to subscribe to. One with the classic Country Squire Radio Classic, which will have kind of a unique album art, which I'm working on right now. I'm kind of excited about, as well as the Country Squire Radio new art.
Does it involve gilding?
This one
faux gilding.
It may. No, not anymore. It doesn't.
Okay. I ruined it.
It's classic. It's classic. But anyway, so be sure to check that out. I'll be posting information on that to the Patreon account as well. Hey guys, you can always tune into the live show. We love to have all of y'all who are tweeting in and giving us such wonderful feedback tonight, as well as quite disturbing memes that we're seeing. That Photoshop of me and John David in the tub. We've talked about the line, right? This is right on that line. Right on that line.
So terrifying.
But one way or the other, join into the extravaganza that is the live show by tuning in at countrysquireradio.com on Monday nights. That's going to be at 8:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 Pacific, and 9:30 Eastern. Again, that's at countrysquireradio.com. You can also keep up with us throughout the week. You can follow me. I'm at the real Beau York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at _Country Squire.
And of course, the show's handle as well as at Squire Radio. But all that information and more can be found at countrysquireradio.com.
Dude, I had fun tonight.
Man, it was a good show.
I had fun tonight, man. We got Barry here. We got the future Mrs. Squire. You didn't spill your drink. I mean, it's been a great night.
I didn't spill my drink, but I got to tell
drank
you,
it all.
I forgot it. Midway through the podcast, I'll just pull the curtain back here. Midway through the podcast, I'm starting to look around like, where did my whiskey go? And then I was like, did I drink it and forgot that I drank it?
I consumed it all.
That's what alcoholics do. Do I have a problem? or am I just getting older?
I know some good therapists. It'll work out.
One way, it'll be fine. But anyway, hey, man, let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in live. You guys are awesome.
We had a great time. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We always love to see you on Monday nights. Have a good week.